Hey everyone! So today I'm going to be doing a video that I've been putting off for a little bit, and that is Zahar. So the main reason I put this video off is because I don't have Zahar. I never bothered to race him, and that is not necessarily a good idea on your part. It's just because I started Japan kind of late in the game and I never pulled Zahar for the longest time, I just never got around to farming him. But seeing as Zahar has been available for a long time now as a farmable unit in Global, I highly expect most of you to have him near, or if not, max limit break, and possibly even already have his Kaigan shards saved up. So let's take a look at his loadout. Since I don't have Zahar, I'll be using Kahari's Merc today. As you can see, she has Zahar's Nenso, which is at 4 limit breaks. And after I'm done showing off her Zahar, I am going to go and show what this Nenso gives. Zahar has his own weapon, which is this sword right here. The sword is really good on him. It's going to give him auto jewelry gen. And auto jewelry gen is a very, very rare thing in Japan. And it's even pretty rare in Global outside of the Global exclusive units. You're going to want to farm this. It is a free weapon. You can farm it from the Wrath Babel EX, which you're going to need water mages to complete. As you can see, she also has the Zahar armor on, and that gives him a ton of light resistance, which basically makes him resist light. If you have the tenacity to farm this, I suggest you do, but you can always use regen armor if you don't have it. And for her last piece of gear, she has the Teddy on. The Teddy's a good piece of gear because it gives you a little bit of tankiness and a lot of jewel gain. If you can't think of what the last item you want to put on your unit is, Teddy is always a great option. Now for the skill setups that she chose, she is going with both his Dark Cavalier main and sub jobs, with the HP drain reactive from the Dragon Cavalier, as well as the upgraded Overdrive and Over Limit from his Job 1. Now, what is his updated Overdrive? It is a 100% physical attack, 10% agility Overdrive. Zahar probably has the best Gate 2 in the game, bar none. He gets so much attack out of that Gate 2. You should and almost certainly will max Gate 2 on Zahar. Zahar is a 553 unit. There is no reason to max his Gate 3. His leader skill is abysmal. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it's bad. But yeah, 553, 210 shards, and your Zahar will be a god. So let's take him into the map here and show him off a little. Now, because I'm using him as a merc, he will have an additional 30 slash damage he wouldn't have if I was showing him off with no leader skill. And because of that, I didn't want to show him off with a good leader skill, because then it would make his damage even higher than it should be. So I figure this isn't going to be the exact damage he does with a leader skill, but it'll be a little bit closer. Now, Zahar has the Seal job enchantment on his Dark Cavalier, which means that he has Jewel Drain. So on top of having Jewel Regen, he has a very good Jewel Drain that he can use. And this helps Zahar with his relatively high Jewel cost skills. He does have some extra skills, thanks to his weapon. And I will show them off in just a moment. Alright, so I'm going to show him off with and without a physical attack buff. This will be his personal physical attack buff. You don't have to use this buff. You could have another buffer, say if you have like D Rosa in your party. But his basic skills should be similar to your standard seal skills. You've got your basic Dark Cavalier AoE, which as you can see is effortlessly hitting over 4,000 on light units with absolutely no buffs. He's got this AoE HP drain, which will be very useful in making sure he stays topped up on his HP, but it does only have one cast. He also has this heavier hitting AoE, although it does cost him some of his HP. And he has this attack which will zerk him and do some damage and buff him a little bit. I don't normally use that attack. On his sub kit, he's going to have this nice HP drain, and this will also help you keep him topped up on HP. And you have the jewel drain, like I did earlier. You have the Retribution Blade, which, if I remember correctly, does more damage the lower his HP is. And you have his personal buff there for 20 jewels. But before I use that, let's take a look at these skills in here. This first skill that has a for 100 jewel cost comes with his sword. And as you can see, 7.8k, 5 diamond AoE, 4.5 on non-elemental, non-light units. It's a very powerful AoE. It does cost 100 jewels. It's expensive, but it can really murder someone fast. And this attack here, this water attack, comes from his Nenso. And it's just a vision ability, so you just have to be wearing the Nenso to use it. And that'll help him hit fire units hard if for some reason there's a stray fire unit on your light map. So let's take a look at him buffed up and see what kind of damage he can do with a little bit of extra physical attack. So his auto is now hitting 4.5k to 4k, depending on the unit. His basic AoE is up to about 6k. His heavier hitting AoE is up to almost 8k. He can now drain about 2,500 HP off a light unit. His Retribution Blade's up to 6k. And his AoE is up to about 10k. So, the main thing about Zahar is he's a pretty straightforward, just kill everything in sight unit. He doesn't really have any status that he can take advantage of. His kit isn't like super teched out with a bunch of utility. It's mostly just buff attack and murder. There isn't much else to say about his kit. He doesn't have like some kind of special job plus or anything. He's basically the Dark Cav kit with an extra AoE that just so happens to have 1,300 physical attack. So let's go take a quick look at his Nenso. So I've only gotten 2 of them, so mine's only limit break 1. But the base stats on it is physical attack, which is good because that'll scale with his 100% physical attack overdrive with his 30% physical attack over limit. And this group skill you see here for Shadow Messiah is right now it's showing 14 slash damage. And then there's another group that has a more select group of the Shadow Messiah units that was giving him almost 400 HP. So his Nenso is going to give him physical attack, slash damage, and a ton of HP. As well as down here the water vision ability that you saw earlier. It'll also give him the skin. And in case you wanted to get a more up close view of the skin, we can look at my Pleb Zahar. It's not a bad skin. He does have his own OG skin, if you want to use that instead. But you're going to need this Nenso if you want to use Zahar to his utmost. So, technically speaking, you could argue that the skin is free, even though you have to roll gacha to get it. It's something you're going to need anyways, so you'll get it along the way of making your Zahar OP. As far as Zahar and how he fares in the current meta in Japan, there are a lot of dark slash units, but Zahar is still pretty standout. He's not going to do as much damage as a charge-up unit like Bashini or Gol is going to do, but he is going to hit harder than, say, Jin or Rosa. So he's still probably within the top 4 or 5 in terms of just raw damage, and if you're talking non-charge-up units, he's probably the hardest hitting in the game, at least in Dark anyways. He can just hit so much damage with so little effort. His only major weakness is he is a little more on the squishy side, but if you get yourself a nice like 50-20 leader skill, you can off-put some of that squishiness, or you could go all into the damage and just watch the numbers go just higher and higher. I don't really have much else to add to Zahar right now. There is one small thing I could add. If you do raise your Blanchette, she can use the Dorothy Nenso and give him an additional 64 attack. That won't scale with his overdrive or anything, but it's more attack. Any Rathalos unit can use that Nenso and give him the physical attack. It's just the other Rathalos units that you might run with him aren't going to want to use it. Only Blanchette, really. I will do a video later on Blanchette. She is pretty good. And really, that's all I have to say on Zahar for now. If you have any questions, like always, just post them in the comments. And thank you for watching, and I will hope to see you again.